We just had to not like each other for a bit.
You had to not like me, which
True.
came easy.
So easy.
People hated The Last of Us Part 2. It was massively divisive.
The Last of Us was plagued by complaints of bad casting. And The Last of Us 2 is not faring much better.
The creator of the show is finally speaking out about its failure. The Last of Us creator Craig Mazin admits Season 2 was a failure.
How do you go from being the face of HBO's biggest breakout series to the target of a $120 million disaster cleanup? That's the question surrounding Bella Ramsey right now. And trust me, the answers are messier than anyone expected. Behind closed doors, HBO executives are fuming. The once celebrated star of The Last of Us is now at the center of an internal firestorm, one that's burning hotter than the cordyceps apocalypse ever did on screen. After months of development, delays, and budget ballooning, The Last of Us Season 3 has been officially shelved. But it's not just the cancellation that has insiders panicking, it's who they're blaming for it. According to multiple sources, Bella Ramsey is no longer seen as the future of the franchise. In fact, she's being quietly painted as the reason the show collapsed before cameras even rolled. And now there are whispers, allegations, that HBO wants her to pay. Literally. Some insiders claim the network is exploring ways to claw back portions of her deal, citing brand damage, audience alienation, and contractual missteps. Sound unbelievable? Keep watching, because the deeper you go, the worse it gets. So, before we dive into the real madness, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming next. The real bombshells are just getting started.
The finale drew over 50% less than the finale of Season 1. You lost half of your audience.
Have you changed up your impression at all, or is it pretty much the same?
Well, the noise is the same. I've not got any more noises in my back pocket. The new infected are pretty terrifying. They're so smart, and they haven't really got a noise. That's the whole point of them. They're silent and terrifying.
Ooh, give us a little silent and terrifying.
When The Last of Us dropped on HBO, it was an instant phenomenon. The emotional depth, the cinematic scale, the performances, and at the heart of it all was Bella Ramsey, who won over critics and fans with her fearless portrayal of Ellie. She was raw, she was vulnerable, she was powerful. Social media lit up with praise. Emmy buzz followed. Bella had arrived, but between seasons 1 and 2, something shifted. What started as bold interviews slowly turned into red flags for HBO. Bella, known for her activism and openness, began making headlines that had nothing to do with the show. Gender identity conversations, political hot takes, and blunt dismissals of online criticism started dominating the narrative. Her words weren't just controversial, they were dividing the fan base. According to staffers, HBO started fielding emails, tweets, and even letters from longtime subscribers upset with Bella's tone in interviews. They didn't care about her identity, they cared that she was, in their words, mocking the audience, acting bigger than the brand, and alienating fans who built the franchise. Internally, some at HBO allegedly started referring to her as a PR time bomb. Then came the interviews that changed everything. In one now viral clip, Bella laughed off criticism about her portrayal of Ellie, saying that fans who don't get it just aren't evolved enough. That comment exploded online. Twitter threads lit up. Reddit posts hit thousands of comments. YouTube creators made entire reaction videos dissecting her tone, her attitude, her words. And it didn't stop there. In a separate podcast, she referred to parts of the gaming community as toxic echo chambers, claiming she had no interest in catering to nostalgia or fan service. That line, it spread like wildfire. Within hours, hashtags like #recast Ellie and #Bella out started trending. Fans who once defended her were suddenly questioning everything. The backlash wasn't just digital noise, it was personal. To many longtime Last of Us fans, Ellie was sacred, a character they had followed for over a decade. To hear the actress portraying her call their feedback ignorant was a gut punch. And to HBO, it was a PR nightmare. That's when the real panic started. According to several inside leaks, HBO executives began holding emergency meetings not about the script, but about Bella. Multiple sources claimed that the topic wasn't how to promote the new season, but how to manage the Ramsey problem. Some writers allegedly expressed discomfort with moving forward unless there were serious tone changes in how the lead actress engaged the public. One source even described a Zoom call where a senior creative bluntly asked, Are we really building a franchise around someone who's already burning the fan base before season 3 even starts? Others suggested drastic options, like delaying the season entirely. Or worse, recasting. And the most chilling part? Word spread that HBO's legal team began reviewing Bella's contract for reputational clauses. You know, those hidden lines that say you can be held accountable if your public behavior damages the company's image. Suddenly, it wasn't just about Ellie, it was about risk, liability, and whether Bella Ramsey had become too expensive to keep. And just like that, everything came crashing down. Despite HBO greenlighting early scripts and investing millions into pre-production, The Last of Us Season 3 was suddenly, shockingly canceled. On the surface, the official reason was creative differences and audience shift, but behind the scenes, whispers were far more damning. According to insiders, the final straw wasn't creative. It was reputational. The studio had allegedly lost faith in Bella's ability to carry the brand forward. Test screenings from focus groups reportedly showed a drop in Ellie's popularity. Even worse, some execs feared Bella had become bigger than the show, and not in a good way. She was no longer seen as Ellie. She was seen as a divisive voice that stirred controversy every time she opened her mouth. And when audiences lose trust in your lead, the entire foundation cracks. One internal memo allegedly described the situation as unsalvageable. HBO had already burned through nearly $40 million in development. Sets built, contracts signed, scheduling blocked. And yet, they pulled the plug anyway. That's how deep this panic went. Now here's where things get serious. Estimates say Season 3 was on track to cost HBO over $120 million, and that's before post-production or marketing even kicked in. With the show now shelved, that investment is as good as ash. Executives are furious. Board members want answers. And in the middle of the wreckage, Bella Ramsey. Whispers suggest HBO isn't just cutting ties, they're looking to recoup. Some insiders claim the legal department began combing through Bella's contract, exploring options for financial accountability. Specifically, clauses tied to public image, moral conduct, and brand damage. If proven, they could allow the network to withhold bonuses, cancel back-end payouts, or even request restitution. This isn't common in Hollywood. It's practically unheard of, but the rumors are relentless. If HBO can blame Bella for a loss this huge, they're going to try to make her pay. Literally. And for a studio still reeling from Warner Bros.'s recent cancellations and Mac's rebranding backlash, they're looking for someone to blame, someone visible, someone loud, someone like Bella. That's when the silence broke, and the spin began. Bella Ramsey's once busy social media feeds went quiet. Her press appearances were mysteriously pulled. Publicists offered vague statements like, "Bella is taking time to reflect." But according to one source close to the production, that's not the whole truth. The real reason, they say, is because HBO gave her a choice: apologize, publicly, or be cut off completely. But Bella, true to her defiant public image, allegedly refused to let the studio write the apology for her. She wanted to say it her way. That didn't fly with HBO. A ghost-written apology eventually went live, but fans noticed something immediately. It didn't sound like her. It felt flat, forced, corporate, and it backfired hard. Critics ripped it apart. Comment sections accused her of faking sincerity. Memes exploded. YouTubers called it the worst PR statement of the year. And instead of repairing her reputation, it deepened the perception that she was HBO's liability, not their legacy. Internally, that's when the rumors began swirling. The studio had had enough. The silence wasn't just coming from HBO, it was coming from Bella's castmates. Pedro Pascal, once a vocal champion of Bella Ramsey, had noticeably gone quiet. In recent interviews, he stopped mentioning Ellie. One fan asked him directly during a panel about working with Bella again. His response: "No comment." Let that sink in. And it wasn't just Pedro. Other cast members who had previously posted behind-the-scenes selfies and shoutouts to Bella suddenly stopped tagging her. One actor even wiped old photos off Instagram. A source close to the crew said the vibe had shifted. Everyone's just trying to move on. Some say Pedro pushed HBO to recast Ellie or kill her off entirely for future adaptations. Others believe he was burned out by the drama and just wants to preserve his own image. But either way, the message was clear. Bella was no longer part of the inner circle. And for fans, that silence spoke volumes. Because if your co-stars won't back you publicly in a crisis, That's when you know the fallout runs deeper than anyone thought. By this point, HBO wasn't just backing away. They were actively scrubbing her from their future. Whispers from inside the network claimed Bella Ramsey was cut out of internal franchise planning documents. One pitch deck for The Last of Us universe expansions no longer included Ellie as a featured lead. Instead, alternate timelines, spin-offs, and even prequels, none of them requiring Ramsey's involvement. Then came the rumors about Caitlin Dever. A name that had always floated around fan casting circles suddenly became a trending topic. Insiders hinted she had been contacted. One leak even claimed her agency was reviewing availability for a Last of Us project. Fans saw it for what it was, a soft recast in motion. Meanwhile, Bella's remaining projects with HBO reportedly stalled or went cold. The studio's PR machine shifted gears. Red carpets were scaled down, press junkets trimmed. Anything that could connect the brand with controversy was quietly buried. They didn't want a farewell tour, they wanted a clean break. Then the fanbase exploded. News of the cancellation hit the internet like a Molotov cocktail. Within hours, The Last of Us 3 was trending worldwide, but for all the wrong reasons. Fans divided themselves into camps: Team Bella, Team Pedro, Team Cancel Woke Hollywood. Everyone had a take, and no one held back. YouTubers posted video essays titled "How Bella Ramsey Killed the Franchise." TikToks went viral showing split-screen edits of Ellie's game moments versus Bella's most controversial quotes. Some even turned her real-life interviews into mocking voiceovers, layered over game cutscenes. Meanwhile, supporters rallied. They called her brave. They said she was punished for speaking truth, that HBO was using her as a scapegoat. They flooded Twitter with hashtags like "Justice for Bella" and "Let her play." But for every defender, there were 3 more calling for her to step away permanently. The backlash had reached a fever pitch, and the once united fandom of The Last of Us was now a full-blown war zone. And that's when people started asking, was Bella Ramsey really the villain, or was she set up? Think about it. From the moment she was cast, critics were skeptical. Too different from the game. Not right for the role. Too political. She was thrown into a legacy role with no buffer, no protection, and no time to adapt. Her rise was fast. Her fall, even faster. Some insiders believe HBO pushed her out front too aggressively, that they overexposed her, gave her too much spotlight, not enough guidance, not enough media training. Then, when the criticism came, they disappeared, left her to defend herself, until she became a liability, until they couldn't spin her image anymore. And maybe Bella did make mistakes. Maybe she got too comfortable, too bold, too combative. But maybe the system that lifted her up was never designed to protect her in the first place. Maybe this was always going to be the ending. So now, with The Last of Us 3 canceled, millions wasted, and a divided fanbase still battling it out online, the question is, what happens next? For HBO, the damage is done. Their most promising franchise has become a cautionary tale. And behind the scenes, executives are already looking to pivot. Spin-offs, alternate shows, safer actors, less risk. For Bella Ramsey, the road ahead looks rough. Sources say she's taking a break. Her team is reassessing opportunities. Studios are hesitant. Directors are nervous. Some producers allegedly consider her radioactive. Too controversial to cast, too outspoken to control. And unless there's a major rebrand, she could find herself sidelined indefinitely. It's a harsh reality. 1 minute, you're a streaming star. The next, a cautionary headline. What started as a dream gig, a chance to bring Ellie to life and define a generation of storytelling, has now become a Hollywood horror story. Bella Ramsey, once hailed as the heart of The Last of Us, is now the face of its downfall. Was it her fault? Was it HBO's mismanagement? Or was it the volatile mix of modern fame, internet outrage, and unchecked corporate ambition? The truth is, there may be no clear answer. But one thing is certain, Ellie's story might be over, and Bella Ramsey's future hanging by a thread. So now we ask you, was Bella Ramsey set up to fail, or did she burn it all down herself? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you made it this far, and don't forget to subscribe for more explosive stories from behind the scenes of Hollywood. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.